Rob Blackstorm here. What's going on? I'm out here in nature, so you see me swiping or moving my hand, anything like that. It's strictly because I don't want to get bit up and attacked by these insects out here. So pardon me for that. What I want to talk about today is I want to talk about the war within. What is the war within? The big war within that a lot of people really don't think about is you versus you, first and foremost. But the old you versus the new you, right? The old you versus the new you. And you see that play out when you're talking about people coming into the knowledge of self, or having awareness of their culture, or having awareness of coming into even the esoteric, the magical, the spiritual, right? Working with certain new ideas, new ways of thinking, right? And also just looking at what's came before them, right? Understanding and analyzing the history of a thing, or the history of certain concepts, right? So oftentimes we're not only battling old concepts, old ideas, old ways of looking at things, but we're also battling new things that we learn, new ideas, new concepts, right? And we're trying to make both of those things make sense. Trying to see how both of those things fit in our lives, right? Now, I remember when I first came into this understanding, right? This knowledge of self, before I understood anything about crystals or chakras or quantum physics or the Baphomet or Banbajet or Horus or the Kabbalah or the Egyptian tree of life, none of these concepts, none of these high-level, the Kabbalion, any of these high-level spiritual concepts and ideas and workings, I was very pro-black, right? My whole thing was like, I came into this, the first book that I read that kind of woke me up was this book called From Niggas to Gods by Akil. And I remember reading that book, and I remember that book had me just questioning everything I knew, right? Had me questioning Christianity, had me questioning Jesus, had me questioning the Bible, right? And it was like a shock to my system. And I remember I went to bed after reading that book, and I had a very lucid dream. And this lucid dream was of me traveling through space, right? Flying past the planets, flying into different galaxies, basically traveling what they call the multiverse, right? Or traveling through the universe, right? I think the multiverse is just the universe and all its different galaxies that we haven't tapped into. I don't think it's another whole universe. I think it's just different galaxies in the universe, and scientists can't explain it, so they call it the multiverse, right? However, in this multiverse travel, what the awareness that it gave me was that I was bigger than just this earth. I was bigger than what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. I was bigger than my bills and my problems and my stress and the issues of my girlfriend and, just day-to-day life. That I was bigger than that. My purpose in life was bigger. And that book and that dream took me on a journey to where I am now, right? We're in Solomon seals and things like this, right? And ultimately healing, right? Now, being caught in the past or being stuck in the past is one of the things, because at first, when you first wake up, you're very angry, right? You're very angry. You're mad that you've been lied to all your life. You're mad that you've been lied to by your teachers. You're mad that you've been lied to by your parents. You're mad that you've been lied to by the preachers. You're mad that you've been lied to by your college professors, right? You're mad that you've been lied to on the billboards, the shows you've been watching, right? All these different things. You're mad. So the first step is always anger, right? And some people never leave that first step in their spiritual growth. They're angry at white people, angry at the system, angry at society for the rest of their lives, right? So what happens is whatever you focus on expands. That's the law of nature, right? Quantum entanglement. Whatever you focus on, you're turning a wave of potential into a solid particle, right? And the more you focus on it, the more you will continue to receive that, because you are electromagnetic. So the electricity you put out will be the magnetism that you bring in. The electricity that you put out will be the magnetism that you bring in. So when you're angry at what white people did, or slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, right? The Ma'afa. When you're just stay stuck in anger, right? You will continue to see more things that will make you angry. You will continue to find articles. You will find news stories. You will watch a George Floyd video. You will watch the shooting videos in tops, right? Of the guy that live streamed. Two things that I have not watched, right? You will watch these. You'll watch police shoot somebody in the car, right? You will watch these videos because you are entertaining a mindset that is stuck on the issues that occurred in the past. You are still stuck in the mindset of slavery. You are still stuck in the mindset and the trauma of what your ancestors have gone through. You are still stuck in the mindset of the trauma of what your forefathers and foremothers went through. This is not to say that none of that is valid, right? But your forefathers went through these things for you to no longer have to go through these things. Your forefathers went through these things so you and your family now can take it to the next level, right? Not for you to sit here and be stressed out again. Not for you to sit here and be traumatized again. Not for you to sit here and be worried about what happened back then and continuing to bring these things up into your state of mind. Because the more you do that, right? I remember being so pro-black, so pro my people, so pro my community, and I myself was stressed out. I myself was in trauma. I myself was always worried about what are we going to do? When are we going to unite? When are black people going to become one? When are we going to take it to the next level? When are we going to revolutionize and take out the white man, right? This was my mindset, right? This is what I was constantly thinking about. And then I just kept seeing more and more things that reaffirmed the things that I didn't want to see in my life. The things that I didn't want to occur to black people. The things that were holding so-called black people back, right? Now let's look at the past just in our lives, right? The same way people are stuck in slavery, the same way people are stuck in, let's even use Trump, right? Trump said, make America great again, just for white people, right? People of other cultures. He was talking about I don't know what time frame he was talking about. There's no time frame from my study of history where America was great, right? There was slavery, women were suppressed, right? There was Jim Crow, there was, wars with the British, right? There was a whole bunch of atrocities being committed. I don't know, to not even just the Americans, the Irish, the Asians that came over here building the railroads, right? There was all sorts of, even pre-chattel slavery for melanated people, right? There was people of all races that were here as indentured servants or slaves, people of all races and cultures, before pre-Bacon's Rebellion, right? After Bacon's Rebellion, then they made black people as the target, or the melanated black people as the dominant slave class, right? So when we're looking at the past, even in our lives, right? The trauma that we have from our mothers and fathers, right? Whether they be abandonment issues, abuse issues, talking to us crazy, not respecting our dreams, not giving us space, not honoring our development, not giving us positive encouragement, not putting us on to or preparing us for the world here, neglect, these things, right? These different type of traumas. When we stay stuck on these things, we will continue to see these things play out in our lives. And a lot of times these things play out in our romantic relationships. You see, we only attract more of what we are. We only attract more of what we are, right? The science is the law of the universe. The first law of the universe in the Kabbalion is the universe is mental. So whatever we think about, whatever we dwell upon, again, we're electromagnetic. That electricity of that thought, and you keep charging that thought, even if these things really did happen, right? Such as slavery, such as your mama abuse or your daddy abusing you, right? Such as you being talked down to, right, by a relative or a grandma or somebody that you trusted, right? Such as your baby mama or your baby daddy doing you dirty, right? When you continue to focus on these things, you continue to attract more of these things. Now, on the other hand, right, there's a future-based mindset. And the future-based mindset is based in the now. See, the sentence that I said, or what I said 2 minutes ago, is now the past, right? Right now, I'm existing in the now. I'm telling you a new story, all right? I'm telling you something brand new. And what I'm telling you is something, even what I said, what I'm telling you just a little while ago, that's the past, right? It's already gone, right? So in order to grow, you have to be future-minded. Your mindset has to be aligned toward what is next. Let's even go into magic, right? Just to show you how. Now, this doesn't mean the past, you erase the past and the past doesn't exist, right? You have to honor your roots. You have to honor where you come from. You have to honor your pain and your trauma. You have to be gentle with yourself when dealing with your pain and your trauma. This is where shadow work comes in. But that shadow work is necessary, but you cannot stay caught up in shadow work. And once you're doing the shadow work, once you're healing, once you're transforming, right? Now the next step is to figure out where are you going to go to next, right? When you're dealing with the processing of transforming what happened with your baby daddy, with your baby mama, and try you transform that is what was the lesson? You have to ask yourself, what was the lesson of this relationship? You have to ask yourself, why did I incarnate in my mom? Or why did I incarnate with this mother? Or why did I incarnate with this father? What was the lesson in it? And the lesson is what you could teach others, and what you could teach others first and foremost, right? Because there's a lesson in it, but really, no, first and foremost is what you could teach yourself. What is it that you needed to learn from these experiences? What does this experience teach you? How did this experience affect how you treat your kids, affect how you go throughout your day-to-day life? And did this experience affect you negatively enough that you keep dwelling on it and you are treating your kids a certain way, or you're treating yourself a certain way because you're stuck in the past? See, the best way to deal with the past is to reprogram it into a brighter future. The best way to deal with the trauma that happened to you is to revisit it and create a picture of that trauma where you are the victor. Because the universe is mental. The Kabbalion, first law, the universe is mental. All is mind. So whatever you think that trauma is, whatever you think that trauma was, is what it will be, and what will continue to perpetuate. It's what will affect your choices in relationships. What will affect your choices in your day-to-day life. It's what will affect your choices on your job. It's what will affect if you watch the news or if you don't. It's what will affect if you are caught in trauma, if you have stress, anxiety, or depression or not. But when you are future-minded, when you are in the now, and you're worried about how you could, or not worried, or thinking about solutions, not the problems, but thinking about solutions. See, people stuck in the past are always thinking about the problems that happened. People don't always look at the past and look at the glories of the past, right? But that's the right way to use the past. The right way to use the past is to find the lessons in the past. The lessons in, okay, Slavery happened. All right, this is the fact. Slavery happened. Now, why did slavery happen? What was the causes? Okay, the cause is that the Western European, had better technology. They had better technology than the African, right? And in that better technology, they organized systems to manipulate people to come to America first. That was the first and foremost, right? They told these people that they would receive more gold in America than they would receive in their own homeland, right? And then after that, then they started convincing because slave trade was already going on in Africa. It wasn't chattel slave. It wasn't as bad as it is now, but slavery was a thing. It was already a thing. This is not something that was new, that the white man came and all of a sudden slavery came. No. At slavery, even the Moors had slaves. Got to keep it a buck with this slave. Even the Moors had slaves. So it's about you coming to the point to where you're trying to figure out the solution to these problems. So if they beat, right, if the African became a prisoner of war, aka a slave, if the African became a prisoner of war, aka a slave, you have to figure out why. And the why was because they did not have efficient technology to defend themselves. So the solution, so in order to not be a slave, is to create technology. Excuse me. Is to create new technology. Is to create new science. It's to create new mathematics. It's to create new things, right? So that you're not caught up in that particular event. Again, right? And also to become organized, right? This is not all white people that enslaved black people. These were certain families that had companies. So what are you doing with your family? Right? How are you organizing your family? Do your family know how to, do people in your family know how to use guns? Do people in your family have the concept of America being a business, right? Do they respect, do the people in your family, your children, know that mind is over matter? Do they understand not to think from the neck down, right? Not to think that getting fly and dressing well and having nice things is going to make them happy? Are you indoctrinating your children with these things? Are you teaching your children magic? Are you teaching your children how to honor your ancestors, right? Your ancestors don't want you to be sitting here talking about slavery all day, to be sitting here talking about what white people are doing to you, to be sitting here talking about how evil white people are. Your ancestors want you to create new technology. They want you to create new philosophies. They want you to create new Bibles. They want you to create new spirituality. They want you to create new systems. They want you to create better and stronger families, right? So that you will no longer have to be a slave or a prisoner of war. It's about the future. That's evolution, right? It's not about making something great again. It's not about what Obama and them was talking about, hope and change, right? Innocuous terms that mean nothing. It's about you being the change that you want to see by starting with the man or the woman in the mirror. And not to be so far in the future, because some people think they're in the future, but all they're doing is worried about what the white man is going to do next. All they're worried about is when are the aliens going to come. All they're worried about is, oh, when are they going to throw us all in FEMA camps? Oh, when are they going to put on a harp and start a snowstorm in the summer, right? Like, people's future visions are based on their past fears. And the thing is, you're never really going to know what's going to happen next. You didn't know coronavirus was coming. You didn't know the swine flu was coming. You didn't know the H1N1 was coming. You didn't know that they was going to talk about monkeypox this year. You didn't know. So all you could do is maintain a high vibration. That's all you could do. And ways that you maintain a high vibration is by listening to binaural beats, listening to music that puts you in a high frequency, inspirational music, right? Easy tools, easy hacks, right? Meditating, because meditation allows you to go within yourself and create your own visions. Prayer, because prayer is you speaking to your inner self and speaking to your higher self, and also prayer is self-talk. So when you're praying, you're talking to yourself, which is true, but you're reaffirming certain concepts. I'm not talking about praying to a higher power per se. I pray to my ancestors, right? And I pray for the energy of the Christ, because I know the Christ is just the anointing within myself, the anointed part of myself, the highest part of myself, right? I don't pray to any Jesus, because no man is going to come save you. Only you can save you. So when you're talking about magic and manifestation, right, you have to realize that you're using things from the past as well. This is how you use the past, right? You're using a bay leaf that's already been here. You're using an oregano that's already been here. You're using a frankincense and myrrh that's already been here. You're using a candle that comes from some herb or some element that's already been here. This is how you use the past. You use the past to create something new for the future. You don't use the past and stay stuck in the past. You don't stay stuck in what your mom and your daddy did. You don't stay stuck in what your uncle or, your cousin did to you. You don't stay stuck in what your baby daddy or your baby mama did to you. You have to reframe these visions by going within yourself. This is why meditation is a great tool. This is why coming out in spaces like this in nature is a great tool. I was out here for a little while before I shot this video. I'm listening to the Doctor Strange 2 soundtrack, the Multiverse of Madness soundtrack. And I'm just thinking about ideas and getting downloads and thinking about this book I'm about to drop, right? And just thinking about how I can make it better and stuff like that, right? But these are the things that come to you in silence. A lot of y'all are stuck in the past because you're stuck in an echo chamber. And the echo chamber is social media, where your timeline is just more of what you think. There's more of the past mindset that you have. And you got to get out that echo chamber. You've got to listen to speakers, and you have to listen to people that don't agree with you. Some of y'all need to go really debate with some atheists. Some of y'all need to listen to some atheists so that you could get your critical thinking in order and your research game back in order. Some of y'all need to listen to some that are Democrat and, the Democrats are going to do this and the Republicans are bad. Some of y'all need to watch Fox News, right? Some of y'all need to watch Tucker Carlson, right? Listen to people you don't necessarily agree with. I was listening to Jesse Lee Peterson this morning, right? The guy who he'd be like, amazing. I was listening to Jesse Lee Peterson. Who else was I listening to? I listened to Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't agree with everything he's saying at all. I don't agree with 50% of what he's saying, but some of what he's saying is true. So I take the meat, I spit out the bones, right? But it also allows me to challenge my ideas of what I think is the truth, of what may be outdated and what may need to be upgraded, right? When you have a computer, every couple of years you have to upgrade it, right? Or you have to download a new program in your computer. Even your phone, every once in a while, your phone will give you a new update so that it can run better. It doesn't stay stuck in the past programming. It's always updated. There's always new innovations in programming. It's the same thing you have to do with yourself. It's the same thing you have to do with your knowledge. It's the same thing you have to do with your visions. It's the same thing you have to do with your ideas. Listen to people and things that challenge you. And the first and foremost, you have to have the mindset of the Fool tarot on the tarot card. That's 0. The Fool is the number 0 on the tarot deck. It's the first card on the major arcana, the Fool. And the reason the Fool is the first card is when you go on this journey, you have to realize and always come back to the fact that you don't know shit. You know nothing. I've read tons of books. And I still learn something new every single day. I still learn something new every single day. I meditate often. I do rituals daily. And I still learn something new every single day. I realize I'll never know it all. As much meditation, as much astral traveling, as much science, as much history, as much philosophy, as much religion, as much metaphysics, as much study, as much research, I still don't know it all. I still don't know it all. And you will never know it all. You'll never know what's going to happen tomorrow. The only thing you can worry about is the now. Be happy in the now. Figure out how to heal from these things that happen. And one of the best ways to do this, again, I know people hate to hear it, but you have to go into meditation. You have to visualize what happened in the past and create a new idea. I've talked about this before. I have childhood trauma, right? Well, I had childhood trauma. Well, no, let me not say that because it's still there. I have childhood trauma, right? But I had to revision it, right? There's a vision that I have of me and my mother doing things that we never did. But this vision that I have makes now, when I think about her, the energy, instead of me being stressed out or me being angry and me being worried, right? The energy is new. So now when I think about her, I have that memory that I've programmed in my imagination. Again, the universe is mental, all is mine. This memory that I programmed in my imagination of me and her enjoying ourselves, right? Same thing I did with my pop, right? The memory of the abandonment issue that I have with him. Me searching for manhood. I had to reimagine me and him doing some things that me and a man would do, that a young boy and a man would do, and I had to take that and reprogram that. It didn't happen overnight. This has to be done on a ritualistic basis. These things have to constantly be confronted and upgraded. These things have to constantly be revisited. And there's different times of the year, excuse me, there's different times of the year. This is why astrology is so important. There's different times of the year where, something popped up on my phone. Anyway, there's different times of the year where it's more advantageous to do this, and there's different times of the year where it's not as advantageous to do it, right? And not to say, well, you can't do it every month, but there's times where it's stronger, where the energy is stronger. It's just like planting a seed, right? If you plant a seed in the winter, right, it's probably not going to be effective. It's not going to grow as well as if you would plant it in the spring, right? It's going to take a longer time for that seed to grow if you plant it in the winter, if it grows at all, versus if you planted it in the spring, right? So there's a time and place for everything, right? So this is why astrology is important. Understanding the cosmos and the cosmic cycles are important, because you have to get into an understanding of who and what you are. This is why knowing your chart is important, because you have to get to an understanding of who and what you are and what your purpose is. And once you will become purpose-driven, it's hard to have excuses when you're purpose-driven, right? It's hard to have excuses when you have a purpose. It's hard to be distracted by what's going on with black people, what's going on outside in the Amazon rainforest, what's happening to the people in Peru, right? When you have a purpose, those things don't affect you anymore, right? You know that your purpose and the reason that you're here is you're here to build a legacy for yourself, your family, right? You're here to do something that impacts someone else. You're here to be of service to someone else, just like nature. Everything in nature is here to be of service to something else. Animals eat other animals. Animals eat plant life. Plant life feeds off of other animals as well, right? Like a Venus flytrap or something like that, right? So you have to put yourself in a position to where you are using your past but not letting the past use you. Where you're looking at the things that happened in your past and figuring out, how can I use this to make myself better in the future? And a lot of people are stuck in the past. They're stuck in nostalgia. They're stuck in what could have been. You ever heard of old ass man? They telling a war story for something that happened in the 50s or the 60s. But right now, right? They're busted and disgusted. Nobody cares about that war story. Nobody cares about like Al Bundy and Polk High, right? Nobody cares about Al Bundy and Polk High, that he was the quarterback. That's happened in the past. But what about the now? What are you doing in the now? You can't stay stuck in your past victories. I got homies here in New York, they still stuck on 90s hip hop. Like they ain't making no new good music now. Don't be stuck in 90s hip hop. Don't be stuck in 80s hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Move with the times, move with the current. Create new and innovative things. You should always be growing. You should always be innovating. This tree don't stop growing. You know what I'm saying? This tree behind me, it's not stopped growing. There's different branches. It's alive. It's thriving. It continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. You have to continue to grow and grow and grow. It has roots, right? It's feeding off its roots. But the roots have to be healthy, or the tree will die, or the tree won't grow as well. And eventually the tree will wither early if the roots are not healthy. So your roots are your past. Your root chakra is the past. There's teas you could drink to heal these chakras. There's keys, musical tones from from A to G, I believe it is, right? Yeah, A to G. There's musical tones, right? There's binaural beats. There's isochronic tones. There's different frequencies from alpha, beta, gamma, delta, right? All these different frequencies that you can listen to and tap into. There's meditations on YouTube. There's no excuse. If you want to stay stuck in the past, if you want to stay stuck in your past hurt, if you want to stay stuck in the trauma, oh, this man did me dirty, so all men are like this, then you're going to continue attracting all men that are like that. Oh, this woman did me dirty, she hurt me. All women are like this, they gold diggers. All right, you're going to continue to attract gold diggers and women that hurt you. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to be in the now, and being in the now means being in the future. What is next? What did I learn from this particular experience? What can I learn from slavery? What can I learn from Jim Crow? What can I learn from me and my family? What can I learn from the Corona 2020? What did I learn about following a movement like Black Lives Matter, right? And blindly following movements that don't work? What did I learn about blindly following politicians? So you could be so future-minded that you forget the past and don't use the past as a tool. And the key is to use the past as a learning tool and learning lessons, not to be stuck there. For you to have healthy roots so you could grow properly. And a lot of us are stuck in the past. We're stuck in what happened. We're stuck in what once was. And this is what's holding a lot of us back. So in this particular season, Gemini season, I hope you heed this message. Memorial Day weekend, I hope your memories, that you're programming them to work for you. That you're looking back on them, analyzing them, and realizing that you could create a new you today. Not tomorrow, today. It's going to take work, right? It's going to take time, just like it takes this grow. So you have to be kind to yourself. But don't ever think that you can't change and create a new reality, because it's yours. It's up to you to what you will do with this time that you have here on Earth. And the time here in this avatar body is limited. So you want to do the best with it. You want to honor your ancestors by living to be an enlightened and evolved ancestor here. Because one day you will be an ancestor. What will you be remembered for? Will they light a candle to you? You're an ancestor. You're a reincarnated ancestor, and you will be an ancestor in the future. So what are you doing in the here and now to make yourself shine like that enlightened ancestor? Or are you going to continue to be stuck in the past? The choice is yours. Peace, power, and prosperity. Look out for my book. Me and Suche Dula put a book together. She's been on the channel. Me and her done readings, but we put a book together. Occult Magic Mastery. Coming soon. I'm going to say it'll drop Monday, right? I'm going to say tentatively it's going to drop Monday, Memorial Day. So look out for that. You could get the book, the pre-orders on the website. I'll drop it in the description. You go on her website and check that out. Pre-order it, all right? Order it through her website. And that's that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I making sense? Do I sound crazy? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstone.